Good afternoon to one and all. This game on the point of getting underway, and watching it with me is Mark Lawrenson.
Well, no surprises this afternoon with the home team's formation. In fact, they've played this way all season. It's so predictable. I think it makes it easy for the opposition.
I did catch a few words with the coach of the visiting team a few moments ago. He was surprisingly nervous and tetchy. In fact, he wasn't giving much away at all. Keep an eye on the touchline. It promises to be pyrotechnic down there. Football match should be good, but that dust-up, well, I'd pay a big subscription to watch that. Certainly the pedigree, the quality is there in both these sets of players to produce something really special. Oh! And it should have brought a goal. Everything right except the finish.
The team is certainly firing on all cylinders, and very early on too. They're determined to score quickly and put the opposition on the back foot.
Henri. And Van Nistelrooy. Here's Van Nistelrooy. What a ball behind the defensive line. Eto'o. Stopped him. Oh, illegally, says the referee. It's a long way out to be having a go at goal. Free kick. It's over, too high.
It's somewhat optimistic to think you can score from there. His teammates think so too. They would have preferred a cross into the box, I think.
15 minutes into the first half. It's good tackling back. Quality trap here. Guti. Sergio Ramos. And here they come again. It's a corner kick. Lifts it high.
His shot has just clipped the bar. He can consider himself very unlucky not to score. He had the keeper beaten all ends up too.
Piqué. Abidal. Eto'o. The attempt at the through pass. May have to deal with another one now. Henri! It's there! First blood.
You know, when I saw him line up to hit it, I thought, he can't. He has.
Some of their supporters are booing now. I guess you can't blame them, letting in such a soft goal. They found the opener, 1-0. Good goalkeeping. It was decisive. He was off his line very quickly. Here's Gago. And Sneijder. Bad challenge there. Free kick given. Eto'o. 2 additional minutes being shown on the board now. Poor ball, ticked off. Snuffed out by the defence. There is half-time. And I have to say there are some tired legs out there already. So we might be seeing some changes for the second period.
Well, that'll certainly have pleased the fans and the players are...
Well, traditionally, as the second half whistle goes, the team come out strongly in the second half. We'll see.
Delighted with that score. 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 Delighted with that.
His left foot shot was well struck, but not good enough to beat the keeper. Gago. Pepe. This could be the opportunity they need. There's a lot of movement up front, and at last the chance of finding someone in space in front of goal. Late challenge. He may just knock it into the penalty area instead. What? Goodness me, surely he had to put that away. A rueful smile on his face. Again they build. And is dealt with comfortably. Yaya Toure. And they look for the spaces on the flanks. Here they come again. He had to get there, and he did. Robin. Stopped him. Oh, illegally, says the referee. Their manager has decided to alter things a little here. They need to make sure that they prevent the equaliser here. Chance wasted there, that's well off target.
Oh, that's a miss, John. I tell you what, the manager thought it was in as well. Did you see him on the bench?
Piqué. No attempt to play the ball. Free kick. There'll be 2 additional minutes. Iniesta. Arrives in the box. Held by the keeper. He has blown for full time now. A tremendous performance here, and their manager will be absolutely ecstatic as his players did exactly what was asked of them, and they've come up with a wonderful win.
That's a great